Hi everyone, I'm Shauna. Welcome to the channel. Today we are getting into what I think is a fun, juicy little tag, the content creator tag. Some of the heart of this tag, which talks about like hate comments or comments, those kinds of things, but most specifically ads and sponsorships. That is something that I was already drafting a video about, and then I saw this tag and I'm like, I think this is my perfect opportunity to talk about these things. I am refilming this, and this is my timer. I normally don't like to mention that because it's irrelevant to you how many times I film something, but I am setting a timer for 6 minutes for every question because the first time I did this, the footage was 2 hours long. If you hear weeping, I'm trying to get my shit together. Let's freaking go. The first question is, how do you feel about the term influencer, and do you feel like you are one? My answer is yes, I think I'm an influencer. And my overall perspective is that if you are on a platform like YouTube, and I think YouTube is the most clearly defined platform between having a private audience like your circle of friends versus a public one. If you're on a platform like YouTube, that means you have a platform that allows you to influence people. If you have even one subscriber, you have the power to influence them. And when people don't want to take ownership of that label, to me, that's just kind of suspicious behavior, because influencing in itself isn't inherently bad. We can influence people to buy things, yes, but we can also influence people to make different decisions, to not buy things, to change their mind. There's people here who I've influenced to go on a no buy or a low buy, or to stop buying makeup, or to even buy a specific makeup product or something that I've had as sponsored content over on the channel. But you also might have watched videos that have inspired you, or influenced you rather, to start reading, or to read fantasy, or to start playing chess, or to get better at chess. There's lots of ways that we influence each other, or we can be influenced, and it's not just to buy something. And so if you're somebody who has a platform and you don't want to be called an influencer, I'm suspicious of you, because it means that you don't want to take ownership over something that is your responsibility to take ownership over. And if you do sell things, but you don't want to be labeled as somebody who influences, there's a disconnect there. And if you're not okay selling things, promoting things, having sponsored content, then you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. If you can't proudly say, yes, I influence people, and also be proud and happy of the way that you influence people. I used to think I wasn't an influencer in maybe the most traditional sense, but then around 100 subscribers, I imagined my subscribers in a room. At that point, 100 people, which is a big audience. I don't think many of us get the opportunity to speak in rooms full of 100 people. If we do, probably not many times in our lives, unless we're like maybe a singer or a musician or some kind of public speaker. As my audience grew, I'm like, okay, there's a chance I might have performed in front of 100 people, maybe even 200 or 300 people. Probably as a child or youth. I actually played a mime in a play once, long story. But I haven't done anything in front of 500 people or 1,000 people, and surely not 4,000 people. And so when I think about the people that are in my sphere, or who subscribe to me rather, when I think of those people as physical people in a room, it makes me compare myself less to other people and take ownership of the fact that there's 4,000 people who I have the chance to influence every day, both positively and or negatively, or some, thing in between. And so saying that I'm not an influencer because I'm not that person, or I don't have as many subscribers as that person, or as many viewers or Instagram followers as that person, I think does yourself a disservice and makes you play small, but also negates the responsibility that I feel like other YouTubers should be taking when they have a smaller audience. You are responsible for the influence you have over other people, regardless of how many people you have the opportunity to influence. I don't know if that's the right word. So question number 2 is, how did you decide to become a content creator? And I think that my path to this is pretty normal. I didn't decide to become a content creator. I guess I made the decision to post my first YouTube video, which is a decision. And what I really wanted when I posted my no buy video was I wanted accountability and I wanted to be held accountable. And at that point, it didn't matter to me whether I had 100 subscribers, 100,000. There was no goal in mind or even this idea or desire to become like an internet celebrity or a famous YouTuber. I just wanted accountability and I wanted to post my journey, which I felt like at the time would be a journey out there online. But I'm the kind of person who, if I were to do the no buy just privately, I probably wouldn't stick to it. And I'm the kind of person who, if I have to go to the gym by myself every day, that relies on a lot of willpower. And that's just such a tremendously difficult habit for me to start. I did do that for a couple of years, but it also fell apart pretty quickly before the pandemic. The way I go to the gym now is with somebody else. That's how I'm reliable. I guess the equivalent here is that by posting online, even if one person watched it, or even if it was just a diary for me to look back on, the fact that anybody on the internet could stumble across my video at any time meant that it was public and that anybody could watch it. So there was this level of, okay, Shauna, you need to have your shit together. I really did feel like there was not a lot of no buy content at the time. There was some, but very little. And I felt like, okay, if there could be thousands of more traditional beauty channels, why can't there be thousands of no buy channels or low buy channels? I feel like there's a lot of people out there who want this kind of content, but there's not enough. And I'm like, just in my mind, I was convinced that somebody would find this helpful, that somebody would want to watch this, that there was somebody else like me out there who wanted more no buy content. And even if they already had watched people, I felt like there's somebody who could relate to me, or what I was doing would be relatable. And I really started it with, I guess if I'm talking about what I had in mind as a goal, would be to impact somebody else's life positively and to be a source of inspiration for somebody else. I felt like I could do that. There would be somebody, at least one person. And if I could do that for one person, that'd be like mission accomplished. Question number 3 is what is my experience with knowing other creators in real life, good or bad? And my experience is both. I only know one person in real life, and that's Lara Likes Mascara. She's, just as you would expect. In real life, she's basically like she is online as she is in real life. And the other content creators I know are just online, but I think I've had more interactions with them than like the average viewer or subscriber, but that's not always the case. There's few that I know online, like Rebecca Morgan I've talked to. She'd probably be one of the people I've talked to more. Even Amanda's cute face on Instagram. Everybody has overall just been like really polite and nice. The only negative interaction I had was with somebody who didn't like me and I just felt like was being fake nice to me. I was tagging them in things on occasion and I was messaging them on occasion. Nothing like every day or even every week. And then out of nowhere, this person was basically like, leave me the fuck alone. Like it was very abrupt, it was a bit embarrassing. It just was like, I got mean girl vibes from that interaction. And ever since then, like whenever I see them speak online, I get the mean girl vibes. And it's totally fine for somebody to not like me. There's lots of people out there who don't like me or my channel. They don't find me likable, funny, whatever they look for in a person. And they could have also just not been rude. I don't think it's that hard to be rude, but it is like, it's for me, if that's the worst experience I've ever had, then I think the space is pretty great. Okay, number 4, do you accept sponsorships and how do you feel about them? This is the question that I've been dying to answer. Yes, I accept sponsorships, and my view of them is that we shouldn't be painting them with one brush of they're all good or they're all bad. It really depends on the brand and the person. And when I see people that I know or who I follow, when they get sponsorships or when they get new brand deals or something of that nature, I'm excited for them. I'm like, yes, get it. Get that money. Like, get it. So proud of you. I know many of you feel that way about me and other influencers out there, other content creators out there, but there's also many of you who do not feel that way. I feel like Sarah Rose said this in her version of the tag, but the beauty space, I feel like, is just so negative about sponsorships that just doesn't feel the same way in other fields or other topics, where it's very common to have all videos sponsored, or most videos sponsored, and also more common for ad reads. And I agree with her in the sense that if you are a beauty channel and you are reviewing products and then you get products that are sponsored and then you're reviewing them, I get how that could make people uncomfortable and how that could, at the very least, be a gray area. I totally get that. But also, that's not like, I don't review products on this channel. I'm not a review channel. I do that very seldomly. But even then, I just think that sponsorships in the beauty space, they would still rub people the wrong way. From a content creator's perspective, sponsorships can make a dramatic influence on your bottom line and can really make YouTube as a job sustainable and can help content creators transition to being a content creator full time. Like, they can make a very big difference. As an example, for me, I have a campaign, and the revenue from that campaign is worth roughly 2.5 months worth of ad revenue. I just have one at the moment that is ongoing, and I do hope to get more. They can make a very big difference. And as you know, the bigger you are, the more you can charge, but also the more opportunities that come your way. So then, it can make a bigger and bigger impact as you go forward. In my opinion, if you don't trust, like if you see somebody and you're like, oh, they have an ad, there's two things that can be at play. One, you just don't like ads, period. And there's nothing that, like, there's basically nobody that you would be happy for. But then there's also could be like, oh, she has an ad or they have an ad. And if you don't trust the content creator to be selective about the ads that they choose, then to me, it's an indication that you don't trust the content creator. When I look at somebody like Rebecca Morgan, who's fabulous Canadian queen, if she takes an ad, I trust her. I trust her recommendations, and I believe that she's going to pick products or pick companies that align with her beliefs, but also that she stands behind. Like, I trust her vetting process. Not that I know any more than you do, but how she vets companies, the point stands. This view that if you take a sponsored post, then like you've sold your soul is just not something that I ascribe to. And I am proud of the brands that I have taken sponsored content for or with. And so far, it has just been one brand, and that is how selective I am. That's not a lot. Would I take more? Yes. And if I can't say I'm proud to support this brand and proud to bring them on the channel, then I won't. And I'm not going to apologize for taking sponsorships, nor do I think influencers should, unless they make a really shitty decision or work with a really shitty brand or they don't have a good vetting process. But because I trust myself to do that, I trust myself to be able to select brands that are good brands, that are brands that I'd want to work with. I trust my ability to make those distinctions is what I'm trying to say. The next question is, have you had experience with a brand that left a bad taste in your mouth? I want to talk about a specific brand, but I also want to take this opportunity to talk about PR. I'll talk about the brand first, and because I'm going to name a name, and then we'll talk about PR second. This is the place I feel like it belongs. The brand that has left the worst taste in my mouth, like head and shoulders above the rest, is Lily Silk. Talking with them was chaotic at best, and they have harassed me and other people that I know, but they're not the only brand that has harassed me. There's a period company, one that I had not heard of before. Like, it's not the popular one. NYX, I think is what they are. KNIX. They emailed me like 5, 6, 7 times, and I told them to leave me alone after I think number 3, and they just kept going. I don't know why we're going to keep emailing people who've told us to leave them alone. I was polite at first, decline them again, told them to stop because they're harassing me, and they kept going. So like I blocked them. Just really weird behavior from a brand. But Lily Silk, there was just so much wrong with my interactions with them. The first was that I have received multiple emails from the brand. And within the same week, I first received an email from somebody from Lily Silk who wanted to do sponsored content. And then I received a second email a few days later, maybe 5, 6, 7 days later, who wanted to do a gifted collab. So they weren't even being consistent about what they were offering. And I've had this happen many times where a brand has reached out to me more than once. This happens actually quite a lot, just from different brands and brands that I've said no thank you to, which means that I just think that the PR companies at a lot of brands are handled in like a Mickey Mouse way, in a way that is just, I don't actually know how they're handled. But how do you have no system in place where you're going to email the same person over and over again who has said no? I don't know how you can manage that, but somebody should, because they're wasting their time. Anyway, so that happened. Lily Silk also asked me to lower the price of my rate because their prices are expensive. So what they wanted to do, they were very explicit about this. What they wanted to do was offset the cost of their product onto the creator. They wanted the creator to absorb the cost of their product because they manufacture a more expensive product, which is fucking gross. It's to me, that is so manipulative and just trying to take advantage of a creator. It kind of leaves me speechless to this day thinking about that. They wanted to have a sponsored, like they wanted this sponsored post to be in a favorites video. That's what they requested. They requested the product to be in a favorites video. And I said, no, I will never put a sponsored product in a favorites video. I always thought when a sponsored product appeared in a favorites video is because of the content creator, not because of the company. Obviously, the content creator has to agree to this, but that is just some of the most disgusting behavior, both of them ever. Very sketchy. And then besides that, they wanted to send me a pillowcase, and I said, no, I'm not interested. And I gave them a couple of options, and I said, would you consider this? And by the way, this didn't all go down in this order. So, sorry, I need to continue before I lose my train of thought. They said, sure, you can have a video about this. And then I'm like, okay, I'll give you, they wanted video ideas. So I gave them a couple examples, and they said no to everything. And then they kept coming back to the pillowcase. What I learned after dealing with them was that they were never going to agree to anything without the pillowcase being featured in some way. And they just wanted to micromanage my content in a way that I've never experienced. In my opinion, a brand should not be able to tell you like exactly to the T, like picking out your clothes kind of micromanaging. I don't think that's okay. I think brands should give creators the artistic freedom to make choices for themselves and also which videos to feature the products in. Some of the brands, or none of the brands, this isn't about Lily Silk anymore, but none of the brands know what my best videos are or which ones I think won't perform well, but I still want to make. Or if they want to put their product and they're requesting a specific video, they're requesting something that's not going to perform well, but that's what they want. And I think it's just a bad play. And so it doesn't make sense to me to get them to pay me money to put their product in a video that's not going to perform well and or I'm not interested in doing. So I want to talk about PR now. And PR is just overall a gross experience to me. And if you are a brand who it's what all of these things are trying to do is pay a content creator in product. And I did take a couple of these back when I first got monetized and there was interest and there was something exciting about it, honestly. What I didn't realize at the time, like with Alia's Skin as an example, what I didn't realize at the time or maybe failed to consider is that for not every gifted collab, I would say most of the ones that even like initiated contact were not asking me to sign contracts or also sign over my rights to my content, but some do. Some have made those requests. And Alia's Skin was one of the brands that said that if I didn't sign anything, but if I took their collab by agreeing to it, I would in essence like give them the right to use my content how they saw fit. I don't remember now if it was like just for a year or indefinitely, but they never used my content. That's what I agreed to at the time. And at the time, I failed to see my opinion on the product could change, but also they could do something suspicious or something I don't like, and they have my photos, my images, right? And then also, let's say I grew. Let's say out of nowhere, I went from 1,000 subscribers to 100,000. And then because I grew so quickly, they have the rights to my thing, to my content that they now want to use to their advantage. And I think it's kind of gross that brands want you, not just asking creators to get product for free or to accept free product in exchange for work. I think that's gross. But to then sign over content rights is even worse, in my opinion. It's worse than asking somebody to work for free, and you want them to do that for free also. It's just, it's not okay. It really, really isn't okay. And I haven't had a request of that nature in a long time. So a recent example, this is the first time I've seen it in a while, like a brand being explicit in their first email, like without me replying or anything. A brand called Bleem, they do skincare, like what is it? It's like a razor, but not a razor. Anyways, what they said in their first email to me was they were going to post my content onto their Instagram or Facebook page for exposure. So without me soliciting anything from them, without me asking any single questions, they offer that information up front, which means that for them to post my content anywhere, it means I would have to give them the right to use my content for free, which this practice is just as egregious, if not more, than the gift for labor kind of thing. This PR for a deliverable has been the only, like when it comes to PR, these are the only PR interactions I've ever had since being monetized in January of 2021. Yeah, January of 2021. I have received roughly 200 emails since then. It's approximate. Could be 180, could be 210, somewhere in there. And 100% of the requests have been of this vein of, and I don't mean the ones who want payment or who would be okay with payment. I mean people who are talking about PR at all. So out of those, all 100% of those PR emails wanted me to work for free, 100%. To me, if that's the case, that's the experience, this is now the standard in the field. And it took me a long time I was afraid of talking to these companies at first, and I was really uncomfortable about saying no or asking for payment. And also, how do I figure out a rate? If you happen to be in this boat, message me. I'm happy to talk with you. I really had to drill into my head that brands aren't our friends. Brands aren't here because they care about us. Majority of my experience has been brands trying to take advantage of small creators. The reason why I fucking love Ana Luisa is from day one, they treated me with respect. They were kind and they've been fair, and from day one. And I have come close with other brands. There's one who I came very close to working with, but it was just bad timing on my part. And they had a specific campaign in mind. And I just couldn't deliver. It's just this PR, and Tina from the Fancy Faces talked about it. I think what she said is true, is so predatory. If you put PR in your in your email, I almost don't even want to talk to you about it because I don't want to work for free. There is work and effort that goes into producing video and or content. There is time and effort that goes into that, and I should be paid for. And I know there's people out there who are like, oh, makeup's your hobby, or this is your hobby. Okay, still work. I still have to put in time and effort to create things. And I believe that when people do things they should get paid for their work. That's the bottom line for me. We need to move on because I could be here again forever. How do you deal with negative comments? Most of the time, I just delete them. I categorize comments in a couple of ways. Ones are people who are just trolls. Two are people who are just passive aggressive, bringing negative energy. That would be number two. And the number three are things that probably could go either way, but I have just like made a decision on whether something is, let's just say, like underhanded meanness versus something else and I'm having a bad day. I know when it comes to like a lot of subscribers, there's this, I don't know, this attitude about like, how dare she delete comments, not necessarily about me, but just out there in the ether. My belief is use that delete and block button to your advantage, and you shouldn't apologize for that being your policy. Yeah, you're not going to get everyone right. Also, you shouldn't allow people to talk absolute shit about you and or affect your mental health. If your mental health as a creator is being affected by shitty fucking people leaving disgusting comments, then you should delete them. I also recognize that sometimes somebody can just get me on a bad day, or their comment comes when I'm in a bad day, and like my reaction had this been a different day might just be different. I get that that can be the case. I don't feel like I should apologize for it, because if these comments are going to affect my headspace, my mental space, and like you're a threat to the peace of that, then I will delete it. I can recognize that creators can go too far where they're deleting criticism that is valid. And sometimes it can genuinely be hard to distinguish between the two if you're just getting a lot of negative comments. Just a side note for me on like hate comments, I don't believe that we should see them as norm in the field. Like they come with the territory. Oh, hell no. I don't think anybody should hold that belief. Maybe this is naive of me, but I think that belief has just been normalized on both sides of the fence of like creator and subscriber. It's gotten to the point where I think people just question a YouTuber who just deletes comments at all. And also there is, I think, some suspicion over YouTubers, like YouTubers can't tell the difference. And I see this language a lot. And like, you just never know the kinds of comments that are happening, behind closed doors, if you will. And so my personal belief is no, hate comments are not part of the territory. It's not something that we should accept or normalize at all. I have said this on my channel since day one. This is probably confirmation bias. I feel like I have the best, most amazing community on the freaking internet today. What has surprised me most about being on YouTube has been how little hate comments that I get. Really, I was expecting it to be floods of hate comments, but it's really not the case. I think part of it is I feel like I lead by example, and I've tried to be supportive and kind in the comments and respond to as many comments as I can, and like really get to know you all, are people who comment. And I try so hard to foster this environment where you feel included, even if you disagree with me. I know that I'm not perfect at it. And I also really try to make a space where you feel, there's the timer. I try to create a space where my subscribers can feel comfortable disagreeing with me without having, fear that their comment is going to be deleted. I have deleted comments from people who I feel like have gone too far. I've only ever blocked one person, except for like the exception would be like bots. There are bots that they're just everywhere. I think that we have the most amazing freaking space on the internet here. I love what we have, what we've created. And no, hate comments aren't normal, and I don't want to put my time and energy towards responding to them. I just don't. I don't feel like I should highlight them or I should comment back to them. This is a topic if you want to hear more of my thoughts, more examples, because there's like I have policies in place where there are certain comments that I will delete. But also if you eye roll and are like, oh my God, why do you do this? And you have like all these eye rolls or whatever, I don't know, that's just not really helpful. Just examples of comments that I've deleted in case you're wondering. Kind of recently, somebody wrote a comment about how my hair is always greasy and like nasty. That comment did catch me on a bad day. And I was thinking about it, like if it caught me today, I might just leave it. Yeah, it's kind of mean, but like it's also kind of funny that my hair bothers somebody so much that they have to leave that kind of comment, and they like had all the eye rolls and things like that. I've also deleted comments about people who are angry I have ads on my videos. I did respond to one comment, and then I have deleted a couple because it's like the passive aggressive, why the fuck do you have ads on your videos, eye rolly kinds of comments. I've deleted some of those. I've also deleted some where people are like calling me ugly or like saying I have bad skin. The fact that you point out that my skin isn't nice, I don't like, okay, you're speaking facts. I don't know. I just like, I don't really feel like I need to see that every day. If my skin bothers you so much or my hair bothers you so much, maybe that this isn't the place for you. And moving on. What is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to comments? I have a couple. Not watching the whole video through and leaving like some kind of negative comment or disagreeing with something that I've said in the video without actually watching the video. You're allowed to disagree with me. We all don't need to hold the same opinions. To be like, I haven't watched your video and then go on and disagree with me about something. It's like, if you watch the video, I don't really think we'd be disagreeing. Or if you watch the video, you disagree with me in a different way. And I sometimes just don't even want to respond to those comments because it's like we can't even have a conversation because you haven't seen the video. Also, I'm not Google, so people who use me as a search engine, that bothers me. And I honestly feel like it comes as my time as a TA when I have students who would ask me everything. This happens every year, especially among first and second years, but like my fourth years are not like, they're not exempt from it. They ask me instead of just looking at their syllabus. That is the shit that drives me up the fucking wall. And like this is a rant about like taking ownership of your own education that like you just don't want to get me started on, you know. There's that. And also I guess the third one are black and white beliefs in the comments. This almost always comes in my videos where I talk about like shopping or what I bought specifically. People have very strict black and white beliefs about sustainability and being zero waste or things of that nature. My personal beliefs on things like zero waste and sustainability have shifted a lot over 2 years. I personally don't like if you're not a sustainable queen, if you're not doing the absolute most for the environment, then you're a piece of shit. And also like if I'm more sustainable than you, then I am like the holier than thou attitude that can come along with it. I'm not a fan of that, and I tend to not engage with it. That is like such a slim majority of people who watch my content. Like, I mean, very slim. Doesn't even happen in every one of those videos. But it's like when I get that kind of comment, I'm like, what is your favorite part of being a content creator? Number 1, I love my community. We have the best fucking community on the internet. You guys are so supportive. You are so creative. You cheer each other on. You cheer me on. You guys are like, you're sharing what you learn in the comments. I love that. What I really love is like if I say something that doesn't apply to you, I love hearing how you adapt things and make it your own. Like with the bingo, I love that. I love low buy bingo. Or some of you are like, this doesn't work for me. I want to do panning. Fucking love that. And then you share it with everybody. I love how the community supports each other. I love how kind the community is. And I just love like here for life you guys are, and here for learning you are. And 99% of you are just trying to learn and live your best lives. And I see it in your comments all the time. One of the funniest comments, and I'm just going to share this because I actually think about it all the time. And it was just such an average comment. I don't think you're going to think it's funny of it as I am. I was talking about wanting to buy new pajamas, and I was sharing one that I liked from Indigo, and I was like, okay, it's like 60, or I think I said it was $69 or $60 or something like that. And one of you you comment here all the time, you're like, I would never spend $70 on a pair of pajamas. It just cracked me up, and I actually think about that all the time. Like when I decided not to buy any new pajamas. I can make it work. And when I was having a moment of, oh my gosh, I want to buy some new pajamas, I just had you in my head, and I was like, you guys, you teach me so much all the time too, and I feel like we're constantly learning from each other, and I love the community. And what I love, I guess, as a side note to that, it's more like I love my community subsection B. The most amazing thing about being a content creator is the messages from you I get on Instagram. And the main reason why I have Instagram is to talk with you all. So you are always welcome to send me a DM. I met my friend Rita that way. She slid into my DMs. The most beautiful thing that has happened has been how you guys have messaged me saying like how the best part has been hearing from you guys about how much you like my content, but most specifically how my content, my channel has changed your life. There have been more than one message where you said, you've changed my life, and your messages have brought me to actual tears, like ugly crying in my bed at night. I did not expect that to happen when I started this channel. When I had this goal of making a difference in people's lives, I did not think that it would be actually like somebody telling me, Shauna, you've changed my life. How many people can say that? How many people can say that what they do and part of what they do or what they do changes people's lives? That is the best part of this job. And when I feel like complete shit or I have self-doubt, I will read through your messages, and it's a true privilege to be able to do something in which people feel that way about. It's empowering, it's motivating, it's just amazing. And I love that so much. My least favorite part of being a content creator, I would say number one, is putting myself into a box, which you need to do in order to be put into the algorithm. The algorithm needs to recommend you to somebody, and it needs to know who to recommend you to. And so it needs to figure out what your content is like, or whose content it is most like, to recommend your content to somebody else, or who's most likely to like your content. What I've learned is that YouTube considers my content most like Kelly Gooch, Sarah Rose, Hannah Louise Poston, and this is not my assumption. This is like who YouTube is telling me, like who they think I'm most similar to. I don't think there's anything wrong with these women. Like, these are great, beautiful, intelligent women. There are some things I would like to do that are not in this box, and doing other things outside of that box means that when I do other things, those other things are being pushed out to the same group of people who may not want that kind of content, and YouTube would be very slow to push that content out to the right person who would want to watch it. And they might not want to watch a channel or subscribe to a channel that, let's just say I wanted to do books as well. The book people might not want to be subscribed to like a makeup no-buy channel. They just want to be with the book people. When you want to do multiple things that might be very different, unless you already are a channel that does multiple things that are very different, I think it's hard to add things to your repertoire and to add in a new kind of video that isn't already somewhat part of your niche. And the second and I've related thing, which is about the algorithm, the other thing I don't like is breaks. The last 2 months I haven't really been consistent in posting, just for some personal reasons, life moving, things of that nature. And when I haven't been consistent in posting, I was for like a year and a half ish. It's like every Wednesday and Sunday, or for a while it was Thursday, like early it was Thursday and Sunday. I've been posting regularly for like a year and a half, and then I changed, and it was really sudden and really drastic. The change was very sudden and very noticeable. And so if I want to take a break, maybe for a week or 2 weeks, or I'm just like going through a troubled time, not just me, anybody, and they're not posting consistently, it can really affect the algorithm and their views and how they're doing. And that's just kind of shitty. So you basically have to be consistent, or you can suffer, especially if you're on the smaller side, because larger creators will always be recommended basically first for everything. The next question is, do you edit your own content? And if so, do you enjoy it? Yes, I do. There's some videos I love filming more than editing, and that video would be like the no buy updates or the contentment year updates. I don't like editing those because just the raw footage of those videos alone are like hour and a half pretty typically, usually over the hour mark. And I don't want my videos over 40 minutes. 35 is the max that I'm comfortable with. Anything over 35 minutes, I'm like, fuck. Again, to edit those videos down can be just painstaking. I do like editing my project pant updates. There's some videos that are really, they have to be passion projects to edit, like my fashion videos, like my capsule wardrobe videos. They take forever to film. Like they take hours to film, but they take even longer to edit. And unless I'm feeling like, okay, I am passionate about doing this, it's just hard to do it because it takes so long. One of those fashion capsule wardrobe videos takes me like 10 hours to make. And sometimes my energy is just not there for that. Unless I'm in the right headspace and I'm ready for a creative project, that one can just be a hard one to do. But when I'm like, yes, I'm in it to win it, like I'm in it for this, like I have the creative energy and I'm excited, they're my favorite to edit because I just get to have so much fun that I don't normally do. And I think you can tell when I'm in a creative mood because I'll be like adding embellishments or stars or trying something new. And I do want to do more of that. Editing a project pan video is different editing style than editing like a sit down chatty video like this one or like a fashion one. So I like having some variety in the mix. Where do you draw the line in regards to sharing on social media? There's some really basic ones that I think a lot of people get, like my last name and where I go to school. My last name, by the way, there's nowhere on the internet, even in my personal life, where I go by my legal last name. I don't think anybody cares about me that much, but I don't. It's a long story, but I've been wanting to change my name for over a decade. And so I've just gone by this family name for a while. And so there's actually a lot of people out there who think that's my real name because it is a real name, it's just not mine. So it's my family's legal name. For school, I haven't shared school. And if I leave and or graduate, whichever one happens, I was like, okay, maybe I can share at that time because I'm no longer there. Like it's no longer a risk, if you will. If I ever share where I go to school, it just makes finding my identity that much easier, and I'm not here for that. But I think that I have some wealth of knowledge to share about some specific topics like grad school and even some of the grad schools that I've gone to, because I've gone to 2 different grad schools, like one for my master's and one for my PhD. And I think that I could be very helpful in answering questions there and just grad life in general. And so I've thought about sharing where I've gone to school, but I've just been like, nah, no thanks, not today. Maybe eventually, but there's no real plan for that. And then the other big one is other people in my life, because nobody else signed up for YouTube when I did. I haven't, shared my partner before. Like I haven't talked about his name or what he does. Said like a few things about maybe some of the hobbies that he has, but I won't share about our relationship or who he is or what he does, because again, this is not his channel and he doesn't want to be a YouTuber. So I absolutely respect that privacy. And then I have my own reasons. Like there are certain things that he would be comfortable doing that I just am not here for my own rationale about like sharing a personal relationship online. And then the moment you share that person or your relationship with that person online, it's no longer yours and it's no longer private, and you can't control what other people think about it. And of course, you can be like, okay, well, it doesn't matter what other people think about the thing, but there's just certain relationships in my life, like mine with my partner, that I am protective over. Our relationship, I just would like to be private. It's ours, and that's kind of it. I thought about it, like I was talking with a friend and they're like, if you guys ever got married, would you show your wedding photos? Probably not. I might show one of me, but probably not one of both of us. I mean, I couldn't speak to that for sure because that's not actually something that's planned or coming, anytime soon. This is just my take on it. The next question is, name one thing you wish you knew when you were starting out. The first one only partially fits into here, but it's to get a better tripod. My first tripod that I had, It had a very bad phone mount. So my phone always slid. Like you can always see the video go like this in the first, I don't know, for the first several months. And it took me a long time to get a new tripod. It annoys me when I watch these old videos and then the video slides. You'll see it if you watch some within the first 6 months. And I'm like, Shauna, come on. That's just annoying. The next thing is that to market your content, maybe market's not the right word, but maybe gear your content towards people who have never seen your channel before. And I get this breakdown for each video about how many people saw my video from the browse feature or from the home feature, things like that. Majority of viewers come to your video from the browse feature. So people who aren't searching you up. There's also a section for that, like for search. And then there's a section for like people who are subscribed or home, things like that. And so at a conference, like I went to a meeting with YouTube or conference with YouTube, seminar, whatever the title is. And they were saying that your browse, like majority of people, 50% or more, should come from the browse feature. And they're like, there's always exceptions. Like there's some that are specifically how-to channels and that's how they'll get their views. But they're like, that's not majority of people, a majority of niches. And so you need to assume that your content is for people who've never seen you before and who don't know who you are and also who aren't searching for you. And I do forget this all the time. Like sometimes I'm just like, what videos do I want to make? And I kind of forget to keep that in mind. But I think I would have made different content, or maybe like I wouldn't have pursued certain type of content if I had that in mind. Not that I regret any decisions, but that's just a good thing to have learned earlier. Like I just wish I learned it earlier. And then the second thing is that I don't think you'll ever understand the algorithm. There's a lot of people who, and also don't fall for these bullshit people who are like, I know the secret to YouTube. All their secrets are like make your video a how-to video, niche down, and like have good audio and sound and have good thumbnails. There, I just gave you all the secrets of YouTube. But not even. If you make your channel based on how-to, you're not going to do any better. Also, YouTube is not oversaturated. I absolutely hate when people talk about YouTube is so oversaturated. To me, oversaturated means that YouTube is so full it couldn't possibly handle one more content creator. There's no more room for multiple people to go viral, for many people, if not literally every content creator to get to 100,000 or a million views. Most people, this little hair right there, you see it? It's driving me crazy. Okay, let's just like put her back there and we'll keep the rest out. Okay, you don't watch one person, you know, you're not just subscribed to one person or one channel, and one person's success on YouTube doesn't hinder yours. I don't just watch one beauty channel, I watch multiple beauty channels. There's room for everybody to grow big. There's room for new players. There's room for up and comers. And I hate when people are like, it's just so oversaturated. If you want to start a YouTube channel, go for it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Okay. Is there any change you'd like to make to your content in the future? I would like to get better at thumbnails. You might have seen me experimenting in the last maybe 4 or 5 months, trying new things. And there's some things I thought were super cute, but took me forever to realize like you can't actually see what's written on the thumbnail. I also edit on a colossal monitor, so sometimes I forget that I can see, like when I'm editing my thumbnails, they're like literally this big, and I'm like, yeah, you can see that. And then sometimes when I go on my small laptop, I'm like, oh shit, you can't see that. I also want to, you know, there's some editing things I want to learn, and learn some drawing things that I would like to get better at. I have like those personal goals, but when it comes to like different kind of content, there is different types of content that I would like to share, and there's just, I don't fully know how to do it or where to do it. I have my second channel, which I'm going to be posting some of those projects too, which is exactly why I created that channel. There's going to be vlogs over there. I have some like art thing I'm going to be doing there hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Probably some book stuff over there too. There's one video on this particular channel that really shocked me. 5 book recommendations from a PhD, or 5 history book recommendations from a PhD or something like that. That got 150 views like in the first week. And then in the last couple of months, it just blew up out of nowhere. It has close to 10,000 views, I think. My knowledge of YouTube and such is that that is a one-off. And if I produce more videos on books, I don't think they're going to do as well. And also, if I produce more videos about books, I don't really want them to be about historical books. I want them to be about things that I'm reading or what I want to read, or like what isn't working. So I think that content doesn't belong here. I think if I were to read books on minimalism or consumerism, even maybe habits, that would belong on this channel for like a specific video. But every other kind of book video I don't think belongs here. And I do want to make some more book content and journaling content. And some of the lessons I want to learn, I think, are best learned from vlogging, honestly. So there's some of that happening over on the second channel. What company or collab is your dream? Two that I don't think that they would actually sponsor me because they don't make sense. Would be Indigo. I mean, if I was producing book content and then Indigo was like, we love you, Shauna. I mean, that would be my dream. Indigo is Canada's like top bookseller, and they do have more than just books, and they have so many great stuff online. They actually have a great art section, and they also have a great stationery section. I love their stationery. Also another Canadian brand, President's Choice, PC, Gale and Weston and the Weston family. Somebody sponsor me. They are the best brand of food, of things out there. Like Walmart brand is not good. It's just not. But PC brand, love it, here for it. Longo's brand is also like pretty good, but I also know some secrets about people who supply for Longo's. Longo's, I know where they never, okay, I can't. PC, their mustard slaps. Their iced coffee and their chips aren't good, but their mustard slaps. That's what got me into mustard, was their PC. What was it? The Dijon mustard. It's great. It's like grainy. I love their cereal that they make that are like knockoffs of like the big expensive cereal. Their ice cream. If you are Canadian and you try anything from PC that you haven't, try their loads of ice cream. The cookies and cream and chocolate chip, two best out there. Fight me on it. Amazing. So PC I'm already a PC influencer. Shoppers Beauty too. First of all, Shoppers Beauty, I mean, Shoppers was bought by like the PC family, like the Weston family, like who also owns Loblaws. Now you can use their points at the grocery store and at the drugstore, which is amazing. And then they also have like 50 times the points. They have a great program, better than Sephora. And Sephora's been doing shady things, so we ain't supporting Sephora if we can. I would love to create jewelry pieces with Ana Luisa. That would be amazing. In terms of makeup though, there's like some of my favorite eyeshadows or eyeshadow palettes are from brands that I wouldn't support or wouldn't want to collaborate with, like ABH and ColourPop. So not about that. And so the eyeshadow palettes that I use the most and genuinely love would be like the Glam palette, Natasha Denona. Maybe Natasha Denona, hit me up. I would actually, what would be really great, and I was thinking about this last night, I would collaborate with Rare Beauty. I really do love Rare Beauty. They have some great products. I would do a bundle with them, like a lip and a cheek, or create my own custom cheek product. Their melting blushes are amazing. Shauna's, cream cheek product. I think that would be great. Or even potted eyeshadows. I would love that. I would love to do potted eyeshadows. I would create some custom colors for Revlon, or if Rare Beauty wanted to do it, I would do it for them. Like, I'll create your custom colors for like potted eyeshadows for one shadow looks. And then the last one, okay, I want to do a headband collab. If I could do one collab and somebody was like, okay, Shauna, you have to make your product, what would you make? It would be a headband. I don't know who it would be with. My current favorite headband shop is an Etsy seller, Ronnie Blake. There's a coupon code in the description if you are so inclined. I love her and her work. That would be fun. But as of like larger manufacturers, I don't really know. I also feel like a headband collab would be so me. And could you just imagine? I did want to wear a headband today, but like this shirt is already a lot. We don't need one. What other creators do you admire / want to work with? Lara likes mascara. Would totally like to do a collab with her. That would be really cute. Sarah Rose too. For fashion, I think this would be so fun. Lumiere de Helen is one of my favorite fashion YouTubers. I would love for her to style me, or for her to like make me a capsule wardrobe with what I already own, like have her pick out all my pieces. I also think what would be so fun would be Jasmine TY. She's a smaller channel as well. She has feminine, modest style. Love her content and I love her style. I get so much inspiration from her when I want to feel more feminine, because she does have a very different style than mine. So I think it would be fun if we picked outfits for each other for a week, or like we gave each other a capsule. She does capsules. So I think that would be so fun. Go follow those two, because they're amazing content creators who I love and I get so much fashion inspiration from. So the next question is, what kind of content do I hate? Number one is sponsored favorites videos. I don't trust you if you have a sponsored favorites video. It's a bad move. I think it lacks integrity. You shouldn't do it. You never have to do it. Don't take the sponsorship if that's what they are asking you to do, or don't propose that. I think it's a bad idea, and I lose trust in you if that's your choice. And then number two, I think is very specific, but the people who review FabFitFun boxes but don't disclose that it's sponsored, or if it's not sponsored and FabFitFun just sends it to them. I find it weird that FabFitFun just sends them this box to review, and then they review it with like a no strings attached PR offer. I mean, if that's the case, sure. But is FabFitFun all that big still? Like, are they still pulling in the views? I haven't gone to take a look at it, but like my gut is telling me no. But I could be wrong. It's probably something I'm wrong about. Anyways, so if it's not a sponsored video, why is FabFitFun unboxing, or just the name FabFitFun, why isn't that not in the title? Why are these things always titled as like spring must-haves, or like cute stuff for spring? That's not what the video is. The video is a FabFitFun unboxing. It's not cute stuff for spring, or cute stuff for fall, or like the most aesthetic, comfy stuff for fall. And I feel particularly triggered by the fall ones. And usually there's nobody I'm currently subscribed to that reviews these boxes, at least that I know of. So I'm usually looking for like cute fall stuff or cute spring stuff. And I come across this video and I'm like, oh, what is that? It's a fucking FabFitFun unboxing. Are you so like unhappy with the fact that it's FabFitFun that you're going to lie about it? I don't know. The last question, have you ever had to deal with cancel culture? And if so, how? No, I haven't. I'm not really concerned with being canceled, particularly because if I was participating in behavior that people felt were questionable, I would be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to listen to what you're saying. Like, I don't know. I feel like I really try to be the best kind of person that I can be. And sure, I'm not always up and up with the news. Sometimes it's terrifying, honestly, but I'm trying to do some good in this world, and I'm always here to know how to be better. I kind of feel like by the time that you do something to be canceled about, it's like not the first time somebody has said you've had problematic behavior. I think there's very few people out there who are literally canceled out of nowhere without having problematic, shitty behavior beforehand. And so if somebody were to call me out on something, which has happened from time to time, not like massive, but like, I think you should be better at this, you could be better at that, I'm like, yes, I agree. That is on my mind when I'm making, doesn't apply to every video, but to like say style videos as an example. Also, if I don't have this fear, because if you're trying to do good, then like you're probably good. I think Sarah Rose, she said it really great. If you are genuinely afraid of cancel culture, you probably should check yourself and your behavior. It's not, I can't see Sarah Rose being like, check yourself. I don't feel like that's her lingo, but I think you know what I mean. If you're that afraid of it, that probably says something. Anyways, that's the video. I hope you had some fun with me today talking about these kinds of topics. I would love to hear your thoughts about these things in the comments down below. Love to hear all of your thoughts. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, chatting about sponsorships and comments and content creator life. And I'd love for you to subscribe and to see you again around here soon. Bye.